Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So tonight we've got a weird story, but it's definitely interesting. Our story starts off with two guys approaching a 22-year-old engineering student asking for help. They're like, hey, we got friends on the other side of the border. We want to build a tunnel. We need your help. The engineering student, he's a refugee himself. So he says, okay. And they start looking, and they find a factory. And inside that factory, they can put the entrance to their tunnel. Nobody will see it. It's perfect. They start digging. It doesn't take them long to realize they need help. So they recruit a couple more engineering students. And they've been digging for weeks now, trying to get to a house on the other side of the border that belongs to one of their friends. They're just going to pop up in the middle of it. He doesn't know they're doing this, by the way. And weeks go by. They still haven't even made it to the border. They realize they need better tools. They need more diggers. In short, they need money. NBC News decides to pay for the tools. Decides to fund building this tunnel. Can you believe that? Once they get their tools, things go a little bit smoother. They get going. They're about 150 feet away from where they want to be when disaster strikes. A pipe burst floods the tunnel. So, them being young and reckless, they just called the utilities. Said, hey, you got a bust pipe. And they came out and fixed it. They didn't get caught. But the tunnel was already flooded. So they had to wait for it to dry out. And as they're sitting there waiting, sitting on their hands, they find out there's another tunnel being dug right up the road. So they offer to help. They've got pretty much the same plan. And they're going to pop up in somebody's house. Now, the other tunnel was not built by an engineering student, so it needed some help to begin with. But they get it working, and they get the tunnel built all the way over. And to let everybody know, they send somebody across the border to let the refugees know, we got to wait for you to get out. And the thing is, the person they sent was an informant. Everybody on the other side got busted. But that did not deter our engineering student and his friends, because that other tunnel, well, it had dried out now. So they went back to work there. And rather than aim for their friend's house, they're just going to go to the nearest place, the nearest building, and just pop up in it and get everybody out that they can. And they've got to be real careful, though, because there's a lot of patrols, border patrol, running up and down that area. So they get it dug, and they send a friend across the border to let the people know, give them the signal that it's time to move. She went into these different bars, you know, different signals in different bars to let people know what was going on. I guess in one she bought, I think, a matchbook maybe. That sounds weird. Something like that. And another one she was going to get a cup of coffee, but they were out of coffee. So in order to make sure everybody knows what's going on and got the signal, she starts like throwing a fit because they didn't have her coffee. Has to speak to the regional manager and everything. Now, while all this is going on, the people that had dug the tunnels, they've popped up in this building. And they're standing there, and after what happened last time, they brought guns. And they're standing there, waiting. And NBC, at no danger to themselves, of course, they're back on the other side, at the exit to the tunnel now, filming this empty hole. And they're filming and waiting, having no idea what's going on the other side, the risk these people are under. And all of a sudden, a woman pops out, covered in mud. Then a baby. Then refugees pour out of this hole for an hour. It said that when Kennedy saw the footage, he cried. He cried as those people made it to safety in West Berlin, made it to freedom, defeated that wall. So, the President of the United States declared this month American History and Founders Month. I feel like this is a good story to tell. If you want more information on it, you can find it under Tunnel 29. BBC just did a special on it. It's amazing how your views on these things are, just based on which side of the wall you're on and what decade you're in, how much that decade actually values freedom. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.